Welcome to Survivor Talk. Get it? Raw talk, smack talk. Anyways, if I have to explain it, link down below in the description box, especially if you want to see some of the crazy highlights. You probably already know the news. CM Punk and Randy Orton are both back, and if you click on their videos at the top, you get to see their entrances and you get to hear the pop. You could probably also YouTube it as well. So if you didn't get a chance to experience that and you want to, you can very easily that way, because again, I want to recap and thank a couple of people that do watch me consistently, as they don't necessarily themselves follow the product by watching it on their cable television, because they either don't have it, they don't have time, or they don't do the pay-per-views. They just kind of hear me rant. And I'm going to try and get through this quickly because I didn't take any notes. I'm on 4 hours of sleep. I feel like a pile of donkey shit. But this ain't about me right now. Started off Survivor Series with the women's war game, and it did not disappoint. I mean, it was absolutely phenomenal. A real banger to start off the show. I mean, a couple of the highlights for me from the match was, Io Sky literally taken off to the sky. I wish I could show it to you. You could click it yourself. I don't want to get a copyright strike, or my channel's going to go off into the sky. And I'm trying to keep my $25 a month I make off this channel. But she put a garbage pail on her at the top of the cage, like 15 feet high. She just jumped and launched onto everybody. It was absolute madness. And then freaking Charlotte Flair stood at the very top like Io did, and she did a back moon, whatever salt it's called, and just took everybody out. It was just absolutely insane. It was brutal. It was impactful. It was believable. It wasn't awkward. And everybody performed really, really well. And it helps if I tell you that Bianca, Charlotte, Becky, Shotzi did defeat Damage Control in the War Games match. What a spectacle. And I'm so happy too, and this is going to sound really corny, and I know I've repeated myself a million times. I want to make it clear that sometimes when I dunk on some of the matches, and I feel like they're a little bit awkward looking and sloppy, sometimes some people on social media try to say, oh, it seems like you're more critical of the women than the men. It's like, listen, when there's stuff that the men do that I don't like, this has nothing to do with gender. I want to make it perfectly clear. I call it as it is. I don't care what's going on, you know what I mean, between the legs and the genitalia area. I don't give a shit about that. I call what I see as it is, regardless of who or what it is. Like, I hate Ryback with a passion that burns brighter than 1,000 suns. But if he did something amazing, I would tell you that he did something amazing. Right? I would. I would be able to put aside my personal bias. I have no bias. I've told you this before, and everybody knows this. I'm still, in recent history, getting over the fact, getting over the fact that a lot of other people haven't gotten over the fact that the ladies can put on some absolutely phenomenal matches. They can be physical, ruthless. Look at, like, Rhea Ripley. I'm looking at the list here. Rhea Ripley, Zoe Starks. These are even Trish Stratus, Asuka. Io Sky, Bailey. Yeah. But I'm just Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, Bianca. Like, just crazy talent. And a lot of people are still stuck in the early 2000s, the late 90s with, you know, when women were barely around. You'd have, like, Miss Elizabeth, just a cheerleader clapping her hands for the Macho Man Randy Savage and Sensational Sherry back in those days. And then when you had more women come in and they were called divas, they were used as sex props, okay? Tori Wilson, Trish Stratus, the oil bikini pillow fights, the good old days. Anyways, so, right? Come on now. That stuff was cringe. I mean, people were glued to their screens, but it was cringe, and it made women look bad. Like that time, speaking of Trish, because she was just around in recent history, when she was made to go on her hands and knees and bark like a dog, and I think she was like on a leash. just really derogatory, just really stupid. And a lot of people to this day are still in that mode that, right? They're sexist. They're like, yeah, the women, okay, whatever. Yeah, no, I'm telling you, if you still have that mindset, and it's not so much that you don't think that they can do good, but you don't think that WWE is allowing the women to shine, you just need to take a look at the women's war game. I mean, it is equally just as fucking good as the men. It is insane. That's what I wanted to get off of my chest. And I'm just so proud, like I said, because it's just everywhere. Reddit, Twitter. That's pretty much the only places I go. And some comments in YouTube. You still have some people that'll cheer them on, of course. I'm just saying there's still a lot of hate. A lot of people like, they can't do shit. They're all crap. And I still see that time and time again. So I really wanted to share a lot of emphasis on that I'm very happy that the WWE are putting the women on the same level as the men. They're allowing them to capitalize on the moment. And this is proof that they're able to do it. So I really wanted to share that. Yeah, it was just awesome. Gunther defeated The Miz via submission. It says Viz submission. Obviously, it's a typo. Like that time they called Bianca Belair Bailey. This really put The Miz over in the sense that he was able to showcase that he still has it. Well, he never lost it. For a long time, Miz has been used as like an entertainment prop. He's been treated like a bitch. Plain and simple. Coming out in a suit, looking pretty, got the microphone, always getting slapped and thrown around. This dude took Gunther to hell and back. I was hoping he was going to win. He would have tied Jericho with being a 9-time Intercontinental Champion. Now, if you want to get super technical, The Miz with all his Intercontinental title reigns. I've got to work my brain, close my eyes so I don't get distracted by everything I look at. I think it's like 589 days, and Gunther is now at like 534. So Gunther did it in one run. But just to be a smartass, The Miz has held that title in combined days longer than Gunther. Okay. Just wow. And he paid homage to some moves from Bret the Hitman Hart, really working on the leg. Some of the moves with the figure 4 leg lock around the post. Like, it was just... It was more than just like a couple of chops and throwing each other around, right? It was technical. It was just great. It was stupendous, as Kevin Owens would say. And I am very proud of Gunther. He didn't cheat. If anything, it was The Miz that did the low blow. Giovanni didn't come out. Ludwig Kaiserbun did not come out either. It makes Gunther look that much stronger. He's the general, the Ringenal, that doesn't need to cheat and doesn't need the distraction to get the win. It made both people look incredibly, incredibly strong. I thought it could have been a moment to give The Miz a moment, but they're not done with Gunther. I honestly would have been fine. I'm fine with either way, but I was honestly rooting for The Miz. But this is perfectly fine. Very high caliber match. Like, it was incredible. Now, another thing I want to talk about is that R-Truth came back and did a little cameo in the back. Funny as always. Man, I love that guy to death. We follow each other on Twitter. Sometimes I get these little interactions with him for a snippet, second. Really cool. I love it. He's just an awesome dude. And his music's amazing, too. Santos Escobar and Dragon Lee. So it was really confusing for me to this day, for me to try and understand what the creative decision was behind removing Carlito. Would have been his first PLE in a WWE ring in like 14 years. It would have been his first singles match in a WWE ring. I think it's closer to 16 years. Like, really long time. And they chose Dragon Lee. And this match? Oh, wow. Like, you know what I mean? You needed to, like, matrix that shit. Like, I had to try and not blink as much because I blink a lot. And I would have missed half the match because of how many moves were going. Santos is great, man. He's really doing the heel thing, like a monster heel. And I think they really wanted to make him look strong, and they wanted him to win. And that's why Dragon Lee, because he's so just all over the place in such a great way. I really think, like, I've seen Sin Cara back when he first joined WWE back in the day, and I remember Neville and all these other flyers, Cedric Alexander. Some other ones are escaping my mind, and there was 2 Sin Caras as well. And I was like, oh, they kind of remind me of Rey Mysterio. The mask, the high-flying, right, Lucha Libre. I have never felt of any superstar I've ever seen in my life come this close for me to say this guy literally, in my opinion, has what it takes to be Rey Mysterio full-fledged caliber without a doubt. And I've barely seen the guy go. He's just so good. And he's already showcased that greatness. And I feel that's why he was able to take a loss. Still looking strong. Puts Santos Escobar over, and it helps protect Carlito from not having him lose. Again, I'm not saying I'm smart when it comes to wrestling. I'm not saying I understand the ins and outs and how the business works and what's logical from a creative perspective. I'm just sharing my quick knee-jerk reaction thoughts as to why they would have done that. Because as far as I know, I mean, I didn't ask him, Carlito's not injured. It's a scripted injury. But why do that? Okay, so I like to look into those things and speculate. And when I do those things, I tell you bluntly that it's speculation because I'm not claiming that to be fact. I don't know. Right? That way it's not clickbait. But yeah, this was just absolutely amazing. This was absolutely amazing as well. The Rhea Ripley did defeat Zoe Stark. This I'm happy with because I want Rhea to hold on to that title. I want her to be like, and hear me out, I want her to be like the Roman Reigns of the women's division in the sense of how long she can hold that title for. And she's always around. She's always available. I'm talking about champions. Roman Reigns wasn't there. Now, Logan Paul, they had nothing for him. Fine, Logan Paul wasn't there. The women's tag team championship wasn't on the line. Neither was the men's. Like, just next to nothing was on the line. I'm having a bit of a brain freeze. Not a brain freeze. I mean, like, literally a brain freeze. I'm forgetting, like, we really didn't have many titles on the line. But anyhow, this match, again, super technical, just a spectacle to watch and admire. It was just insane. Great cardio and strength demonstrated by both. Zoe Stark really showing that she belongs in the high caliber matches with the top, being Rhea as champion. So very happy for the two of them. Like, it was just so good. Like I said, I think back, and it sounds rude, but back in those days that I told you about when I went off on my rant, I mean, I used to skim through them because it wasn't all that serious. Like, you know, like, yeah, like Stacy Keibler, no offense. She was a terrible wrestler. I'm sure she's a wonderful person. In the Hall of Fame and all this stuff. Okay? But come on now. Put Stacy, right? Like, come on now. You can't. Which is why, to me, people like Lita and Trish are some of the absolute true pioneers for their time because they could actually get shit done. And for a while, like I said, if I would see a match like between her and somebody else, Stacy Keibler, I used to just fast forward through it. I'm like, bitch, that's what the Playboy channel's for. Okay? Like, come on. Seriously. This was just great. She retains her title. Oh, yeah, and some of the hits, like, you could really hear the... Like, there's no sound effects going on. That's the real shit. They were knocking the shit out of each other. It was just great. It was just... I just had... Oh, man, this Survivor Series for me was, like, practically flawless in many... Except for some small things, like the whole way they introduced Randy Orton and all that, like... before. But yeah, first Survivor Series, it was great. And don't forget these PLEs, if you haven't seen one in a while. They don't have a lot of people coming in the middle of the ring and chit-chatting and doing a lot of backstage interviews, which sometimes those are like my highlights of the show for that night on a SmackDown or a Raw, right? You're not really going to get nearly as much of that at a PLE. It's like bang, bang, a couple of things going on in the back, but not really. And some of the stuff we saw was like Alpha Academy and R-Truth. Okay, like they didn't even wrestle. New Day, they weren't even in the mat. You know what I mean? So it was unrelated to the actual show. Then the Men's Royal Rumble: Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, Sami Zayn, Jey Uso, and Randy Orton defeated the Judgment Day with Drew McIntyre, which actually had Drew McIntyre caught, if you want to say that, on camera, storming off, holding his head. This is after the cameras had stopped rolling. Some people are speculating that he was like legitimately pissed off. I don't know, because a lot of people were kept in the dark. But then I heard that Triple H did tell people that he is coming, and they told him how to act and stuff. And then Rhea Ripley was seen giving the finger. Some people are saying, "Man, you guys are really reaching. It was just towards a fan." Doesn't mean that there's necessarily any real animosity. Again, you can see when Randy Orton came out, but this match again was just absolutely amazing. It was great, really, really fantastic match. I mean, and he looks just amazing, great shape, and I'm proud of him. Like I said, to be at that age, like I'm around his age, to go through double fusion back surgery or whatever, and looking like you never missed a beat. Actually looks, I think he looks almost a little bit bigger too, like in a good way. It's just amazing. But yeah, we had that. We had his music. JD McNugget got thrown off the top of the cage, and Orton at the last second finished it off with an RKO. Like, I just wish I could show it to you, but you could watch it yourself on the actual WWE website. They show you that moment. I'm lost for words for that. So Randy Orton, there's not going to be any, controversy surrounding him. There's some from 20 years ago. I'm just saying right now, most people are just happy he's back. When it comes to CM Punk, not so much. Now to get into this, how far into the video am I? 1830. So we're at 1830 right now. And I gotta say, I'm just speechless. The whole Orton CM Punk thing, like this hit me like an F5 tornado, hurricanes aren't measuring that. Whatever, hit me like a hurricane. It was just insane, and I'm surprised that there was a back-to-back thing. Like the Randy Orton thing, we knew he was there. But then there was speculation that they were gonna make it that he wasn't gonna show up. They were thinking of a controversial angle. The CM Punk thing, that I'm actually blown away by. So it's been a decade, well, not a decade, almost a decade now, since 2014, since he stepped foot into a WWE ring. He got fired twice from AEW. I personally, I don't know the guy. We have the same age, the same name. Great. Unfortunately for me, that's where the similarities end. I love CM Punk. I really do. And if he does something dumb, which we've all done something stupid, some people a little bit more than others, sure, you could call them out on it. But just as a whole, from what I've seen of him, I love the guy. That's all I could say. I don't know what happened with the whole thing like, I do know what happened. I'm saying I don't know inside his head what happened, what made him so angry and unhappy and all that kind of stuff. I don't know all the details. Just like with Matt Riddle, I don't know all the details. Again, like I've said a million times and others have said, I wasn't there to see the whole thing at the airport with Matt Riddle. I wasn't there. And sometimes we could be quick to judge. We see a little cell phone clip video. Things could be easily taken out of context as well. It's going to obviously be interesting to see the future of CM Punk in WWE, in that a lot of the talent backstage have been reported to be unpleased. Hopefully he's respected. Hopefully he's respectful. But this here just blew me away. Like, I mean, what a beautiful moment. I mean, just wow. Because these two, like, I mean, wow, they've traded blows, real blows, like verbally. And like, it's just, and then I tweeted this. Oh, I got a reply. Oh, I don't see the reply. Uh-oh. It was offensive in nature. I just said beautiful moment between two people who were able to put aside their differences. I feel like I won the lottery. Are you ready? So it's like obviously from like back in the day, from like 20 years ago. So that was really, really nice. And then I wanted to share another thing talking about Matt Riddle because of the whole thing with Randy Orton, right? Randy Orton, RK Bro. Like, Randy Orton was at some of his absolute happiest in real life and inside of the ring, which real life, how you feel, being around Matt Riddle. Just like Pat McAfee with Michael Cole. Like, it just makes Michael Cole so happy. And, you know, I hope he figures it out, whatever that thing is for Matt Riddle, because he's gone. But he said, hey, WWE, you thought I was hard to deal with. Have fun with 0-2 CM Punk. Times he got fired. From AEW or WWE? I don't know which one it was, because I think it was twice from WWE. I know it was from AEW. No, he probably meant AEW. Like, yeah, anyways. I know more or less what he was getting at there. And somebody said, funny, 0-2 is also your wellness policy record. At least he can stay sober. And, you know, I get it. If he did really goof up, like I said, I was in there. I read some stuff. I really do wish the best for Matt Riddle. I really do. And like I said, I'm disappointed because I really do miss the whole RK Bro thing. I think they were amazing. And like I said, Randy Orton was legitimately having some of the most fun he's ever had in his 2 decades in the business. And speaking of Randy Orton, I forgot to mention that during the match, apart from just saying, oh yeah, it was great, don't forget that Jey Uso in May of 2022 put Orton and Riddle out of commission, and that's who they lost their titles to. And then we haven't seen Randy Orton since. During the match, there was a moment where Orton was like, I'm going to RKO you, you little bastard. And Jay was like, you know, I get it. Like, you're pissed off. Kind of like in the same light how Drew McIntyre's pissed off at Jey Uso. Kevin Owens isn't exactly like bowing down to Jey Uso. And I like that dynamic again. You have the dynamic. Just because you're 2 baby faces doesn't mean that you're going to be all like huggy. Look at Charlotte and Becky Lynch, or a plethora of other examples that I could be using, right? Whereas with CM Punk, he's got actual real heat with some people, or not real heat with them, just some people that really have a disdain for him. Hopefully just people could put everything aside, be professional, and I just hope everything just works out in the end for everyone. Randy Orton, like a 1.5 years, that's a long, long time to be gone. But he needed that because of his back surgery. And I just hope that, you know, in closing for CM Punk, you know, after he left the WWE, before he went to AEW, he was out of wrestling for 7 years. He was in the UFC, tried twice. No offense, didn't work out. But hey, at least he tried it. He trained hard, he took it seriously, and he did it. How many of us can say they did that? I was training to do that way back in the day when the first UFC was around. I was seriously into martial arts and all that, then went into a different direction. But my point is he did it. So it didn't work out. He didn't become a Brock Lesnar. Shit happens. You know what I mean? You can't be the best at everything. Even though his slogan is the best in the world. Yes, he is at what he does, generally speaking. I can't wait for Monday Night Raw tonight. Is he going to be on Raw? Is Orton going to be on Raw? Is he going to be on SmackDown? And like, I just don't know. I don't know. I can't wait. I'm so anxious. But yeah, Matt Riddle. I mean, yeah, sure, he sounds bitter. He got fired. I'd probably be bitter as well. He's somebody that got let go, like in recent history, in recent memory, that I'm gonna miss. I really I thought he was really, really talented. I really felt like he brought something to the business, and the timing just fucking blows because he just recently got let go, and now Orton. Yeah, so we're never gonna see what was going to come of that, if anything. But it is what it is. I think that's enough rambling for me. Yeah, it's been almost a half hour. As always, if you liked the video, go ahead. Give it a thumbs up. It does greatly help support the channel with the algorithm and make me a little bit more relevant in the search results when people are looking shit up. And if you didn't like it, go ahead. Give it a thumbs down. We'll bend it in half, twist it, and you'll get a solo Sokoa Samoan spike where the sun don't shine. Break it off in your ass. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, naturally that would be great. But if not, I get it. I do. Thanks for stopping by anyways. Take care and let me know down below what you think. And maybe I'll see some of you in the next one. Bye for now.